All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to, today is July 24th. That is the fourth week of the weekly market housing report for San Francisco and the Bay Area. Thank you so much for joining. And before I start, I just want to say I apologize for not being able to do last week's market report. Unfortunately, I had to do a personal excursion somewhere, so I had to do that, but I'm back for this week, and I'm really excited to share with you guys what's in store in the housing market and also what's up in the news right now so that I can keep you guys updated in terms of the current events that are going on. I hope everyone is doing well and is having a good week so far, and they're looking forward to the weekend ahead. And next week, or pretty soon, we're gonna enter August, so time flies, but okay, let's get started. Okay, so today we'll go over the market updates for condos as well as single family homes, and then we'll go over the current housing trends for today's mortgage rates, and also what's on the news in terms of having an all-time low mortgage rate. The new coronavirus relief bill that's coming up, most likely, next week, and another round of stimulus checks that are coming. And also how the sales of last month, has been comparative to the San Francisco and the Bay Area housing market, and also the current real estate market trends that we're seeing right now, especially somewhere in the East Bay. We're seeing a lot of activity there, so we'll talk about that as well. And after that, we'll go over the updates with me and also some of the new things I'm doing. And the really exciting thing is that I'm going to start adding in some new listings and coming soons that I'm having for me. And so I want to share with you guys so that, if you guys are looking to relocate, find a new home for yourself, or even as an investment property, I can definitely assist you with that as well. And the great thing is that they're not on the market yet. So you'll be getting them exclusively from me. And at the end, please, remember to subscribe and follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and I'll be very appreciative of that. So let's get started with the week 4 of July 17th through July 24th of the housing market. So right now in San Francisco, the chart on the right for July 2020 of this year, we've seen that there's 97 homes that have been sold for single family homes versus the same week of last year of 111, which is pretty good. And like I said, in my previous videos as well, these 97, they represent the homes that are sold and also currently pending that are going to get sold pretty soon. And so there's 97, and also for active listings, there are currently 91 active listings. Okay, cool. All right. And also for condos, there's 101 condos that are sold and pending this week, and the same week of last year, we're seeing 132. The interesting thing that I do want to point out is that there are 185 condos that are active on the market right now. So we are seeing that the condos are staying on the market longer than the single family homes. And I think this difference accounts to the trends that we're seeing in terms of the migration that's happening, right? So when we're seeing people working remotely from home and they're kind of migrating to other areas of the Bay, they're, the demographics that tend to like condos are younger millennials. And with that, because they're kind of migrating to other parts of the Bay, we're seeing more listings of condos available on the market, which is also good and not bad because we're always in need of more inventory in San Francisco. And the current interest rates as of today are very low and are extremely attractive. So they're at 3.298% for a 30-year fix and a 2.709% for a 15-year fix. And this is the general mortgage rate in San Francisco right now. So based on the news, if there is any upside to all this pandemic-induced uncertainty in the economy, it's the very low mortgage rate bonuses that we're having for homeowners and home buyers. So mortgage rates they basically loosely follow the yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury, which on Thursday fell to the lowest level since March. So it's not an exact marriage. However, as the two have diverged recently, given all the strange market conditions brought on by the coronavirus, the Federal Reserve began buying more mortgage-backed bonds to keep the market afloat. And at the same time, instituted a mortgage bailout for borrowers that were hit financially by the crisis. So all this uncertainty makes lenders and investors down again, hurting the housing market in general. Mortgage rates are really based on what investors will pay for in terms of the mortgage-backed bonds, and investors need some kind of yield or they won't buy those bonds. And that's why rates can only go so low. And it's a question of whether the bonds even exist and what the demand would be for those incredibly low rate bonds. And like I'm saying right now, because the mortgage rates are just super low, at 3%, like low threes for 30-year fix, like I said, or for 15-year fix, you're seeing, like the twos, mid twos to high twos. It's the perfect opportunity for buyers. This is your chance to buy the property that you've always been wanting to at a very attractive and low rate right now. So Republicans are expecting to release a coronavirus relief plan next week, and they've unveiled major parts of the bill, even as they struggle to come to a consensus on what it should include. And the legislation is set to include a temporary reduced extension of enhanced unemployment insurance, another round of direct payments, liability protections for businesses and doctors, and up to $105 billion in school funding. Democrats, who are calling on Republicans to release the bill quickly as financial lifelines expire, are set to push the GOP to change several major provisions, including unemployment insurance and aid to state and local governments. The Republicans don't plan to release a coronavirus relief bill until next week, but their proposal has mostly taken shape as Senate GOP leaders and the White House say they have reached a tentative deal. So the Congress faces pressures to pass more legislation in the coming days to combat the damage from a raging outbreak, and states will stop paying out the $600 per week enhanced federal unemployment benefit at the end of the week, as the U.S. reports more than 4 million COVID cases and at least 144,000 deaths from the disease. So the plan would send another round of direct payments to Americans, and it's still unclear now if the bill would keep the same terms of eligibility as the stimulus checks approved in March, which was $1,200 for individuals and $2,400 for couples, which started to phase out at an average income of about $75,000 and ended completely at an average income of $99,000. So congressional lawmakers want to include a second round of stimulus checks in the next coronavirus bill. The size of the payment is still subject to change, but it could be similar to the terms of the $1,200 payments that were sent in the first batch. But this time, some Americans should receive their payments quicker. But questions still linger for those who are still waiting for their first checks. Because some people haven't even received their first stimulus package check. So Congress won't move on the next round of stimulus legislation this week, but a second set of stimulus checks is still on the table. And this second wave of checks will be an opportunity for the government to extend the money to some people who were shut out of the previous round. And one such group that both sides of the aisle agree should be included are adult dependents, including college students and people with disabilities. Sales of existing homes jumped nearly 21% in June compared with May. And this is according to the National Association of Realtors. And this is the largest monthly gain since the realtors began tracking the data in 1968. So it came after sharp declines over the previous 3 months due to the coronavirus pandemic, and sales were still 11.3% lower annually. And it was the largest monthly gain since the realtors, began tracking the data in 1968 and came after sharp declines over the previous 3 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. And sales were still 11.3% lower annually. I do want to say, though, that in comparison to San Francisco and the Bay Area, the housing activity is definitely different in different areas, in different neighborhoods. So what I'm seeing in San Francisco, for example, is that I'm seeing properties are staying on the market a little bit longer. Typically, if they would be gone or, closed of sale in like 15 days to a month, right now they're staying on the market longer for maybe 2 months, could be 3 months. And in comparison to other areas such as the East Bay, in which I'll get to right now on my next slide, the East Bay is super hot. Or even up north in Napa, or down south in like San Jose, or Sunnyvale, just like those kind of areas. It's definitely picking up in terms of activity. And the trend, so the shift in trends is actually due to, okay, so I just want to say this. So buying a home is actually an emotional experience, right? There's homes that are for sale, but you don't buy every home that you see because you have to feel like you want to live in it. And with this emotional attachment comes, like, what do I want in my next home? Do I want to stay in a smaller home in San Francisco where there's less space, or do I want to go out to the suburbs where there's more space and I get the best bang for my buck? Well, the thing is right now, especially because of the coronavirus, and a lot of people feel like they're being kind of sheltered in their own home. They want more space. They want a backyard. They want a patio. Like, they want more air and they want fresh, space, essentially. So with that, you're definitely seeing more activity in areas that are still cheaper. And also, and those areas tend to be outside of San Francisco. So with that being said, we're definitely seeing an uptick in activity in those outskirts and, the other, I guess, closer vicinity areas outside of San Francisco. So to kind of talk about this slide, so despite the pandemic and a struggling economy, the Bay Area real estate market is still super hot, especially in the East Bay, like I mentioned. And in terms of the data that we have, the urban area is less hot versus the smaller towns or the suburbs. And actually, one of the properties that I made an offer for a buyer who was trying to buy in San 5 to 7 days. So we're definitely seeing that in terms of the area that you're working in, there's definitely differences in activity. But it's not to say that San Francisco is not seeing activity. I definitely do see homes that are moving, but in comparison to these other areas, there is a somewhat sort of kind of a slowdown in the San Francisco market right now. But it's still a seller's market, so we'll see how it goes. So just to give a quick update, I'm still doing the podcast with Matthew Ma. And Matthew Ma is great in terms of inviting guest speakers, and he'll continue to really facilitate that. And if you want to learn more about real estate and see how investing can be an option for you, or other things, we talk about interesting topics every week. So definitely feel free to tune in anytime, and please subscribe. We're on Apple, Google Play, Slack, every podcast source I can think of, we're on there. So, and also I wanted to take this time to go over some listings that I have. So for July, we've had quite some activity. So some properties that are coming soon on the market, as you can see, we have different areas in San Francisco, Nob Hill, Inner Richmond, Bernal Heights, and also East Bay. So we have some multi-units and some condos. And right now we have a few condos available for sale. One especially that I want to highlight is the 1075 Market Street, Unit 408. This is a wonderful property, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 554 square foot. And it's just located in Mid-Market, and it's very quiet. It's actually nestled kind of in the back side of the building. At the same time, you have the height of, being on the 4th floor. So you definitely, you don't have much views from that particular unit, but once you go up to the rooftop terrace, you just have a panoramic view of the whole city. So it's just beautiful and amazing. So definitely check that out if you're interested in getting a condo in San Francisco, or if you know someone who's interested in living in the city, but they just weren't able to because the opportunity wasn't right. Right now is your best opportunity because, like I said, in terms of the mortgage rates, they're just all-time low, and I can definitely help you in terms of finding your next opportunity home. Okay, and with that, don't forget to subscribe to all my social media for weekly housing updates, and also to see cute videos of me and my cat. And feel free to leave comments on all my posts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I would absolutely love to connect with you and learn how I can help you and put me to work for you in finding your next home or investment property. I can also help you get an estimate of your current property for selling. And if you know of anyone who would like to receive any of my services, please reach out to me. And thank you so much for joining me on week 4 of the July weekly market update. And I will see you again next Friday. And I will try to make it for 2 p.m. And if anything changes, then I will for sure let you know. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. All right. Bye-bye.